Hey guys, in this video I am going to show you how to infill your nail putty nails, and I am also going to show you how to correct a slightly hooked nail. We are going to start, as we always do, by sanitizing the hands and the nails, and next I am just going to pop my little cuticle bit into my e-file, and then we will get on with our prep. We are going to start by gently pushing back our cuticles, and then once we have pushed back all of our cuticles, we are going to come in with our little cuticle bit and we are going to remove all of that dead skin ready for our application. Once we have finished with our cuticles, we are going to come in with a 150 grit femme fatale nail file, and we are going to start removing our gel polish from these nails. We are going to use, very similar to the normal filing routine, we don't want to remove any shape from these nails at this point. We are just simply removing our gel polish. Once we have removed all of our gel polish, we are going to gently reshape this nail and just make it nice and pointy again. But this is the nail that we are going to correct, and you will see that when it comes to product application. But in the meantime, we're just going to make it nice and pointy again. We're going to make sure that everything is nice and flush where the old product was, and we're going to make sure that we have etched that natural nail ready for our new product to be applied. And then we are going to do the exact same thing on all of the other nails. We're going to remove that gel polish, we are going to reshape this nail, we're going to make sure we take away any lifting that might have occurred, and we are going to make sure this nail is nice and flush and nice and ready for our infills. Now, when it comes to etching our natural nails, I don't like to rock back and forwards too much, but I do like to make sure everything is nice and flush, and then I like to turn my file on its end and use those corners to get right into those nail folds and to give that natural nail a little scratch, just to make sure everything adheres nice and tightly, and then everything is nice and ready to go. And once we are all prepped ready for our infills, we are going to remove our dust with a nail brush dipped in some isopropyl alcohol, and then to remove the dust from my hand before I carried on, I did go and wash my hands. Now, this system does not need a primer, and so you don't have to use one if you don't want to, but I am a horrible lifter, so here I am dehydrating, and I am going to prime these nails before I start my product application. Once everything is ready to go, we are going to come in with our first base coat. We're just going to apply this on any natural nail that is exposed. We're going to do this on all 5 nails, and then we are going to pop these in our lamp and we are going to cure them for 30 seconds. Now we are ready for our product application. I am going to take Innocent, as I always do because it's my favourite. I am going to use this little dish just with some isopropyl alcohol in, and I am going to clean my brush first, and then I am, as always, going to dry out my brush afterwards. Now we are just going to squeeze a little bead out of this tube. We're going to take the spatula end of our tool and we are going to slice it off, and we are going to roll it onto that nail. Now anytime you wet your brush in your isopropyl alcohol, you need to make sure that you dry it off, because too much isopropyl alcohol can lead to problems. It is purely just there to stop your brush sticking to your product. And so once we have done that, we are going to start pressing and patting our product into place. We're going to pull down those sidewalls and make sure we have enough product protecting that natural nail. We're going to make sure that our apex is back where it should be. We're going to gently feather that product over the apex and off the nail to create the shape that we want. We're going to make sure that everything is nice and flush around those cuticles, and then once we are happy with our product application, we're going to check our nails from all sides, and then we are going to pop it into the lamp and we are going to cure it for 30 seconds. Once that nail has come out of the lamp, we're going to take a lint-free pad and some isopropyl alcohol, and we are just going to remove that sticky layer before we move on to the next nail. Now we're going to do the same as we always do. We are going to start this nail by just infilling it as we would any other nail. We're going to slice off our bead and we're going to place it on the nail. We are going to dip and dab our brush so that we don't have any excess liquid, and we are going to start patting and pressing it around the cuticle. At this moment in time, I am purely just working on the cuticle and the apex area of this nail. We will move on to the misshapen hooked part of this nail in a minute, but to start with, we are going to rebuild our apex and we are going to infill this nail. We're just going to gently pat and press everything into place. We're going to make sure we put our apex back where we want it to be, and then we are going to cure this layer of nail putty before we move on. Okay, now here is where we are going to correct this nail. We're going to take an extra bead of nail putty and we're going to place it on the bottom half of this nail. We are going to blend it back into that apex to make sure that everything is coming out nice and flush. And we are going to basically build this nail up on top of that free edge of that nail. We are going to look at where this nail will come out parallel from the growth channels, and we are going to take away anything that is underneath it when we come to finish filing. So when you imagine that line where that nail would come out straight, we are going to build the shape back on top of this nail so that everything comes out nice and straight from that apex. Everything will be a nice shape when we remove that piece from underneath. We're going to check this nail, we're going to pop it in the lamp, we're going to cure it, and then we are going to remove our sticky layer. Now next we will move on to our next nail. We are going to infill this one as normal. We don't have any hooked problems here. We're going to slice off a piece of nail putty. We are going to dip and dab our brush and we are going to push it back towards those cuticle areas. We are going to make sure everything is nice and flush. We're going to pull back those growth channels and those lateral folds, and we are going to make sure we pull our product all the way across that natural nail and back down into the shape we are trying to achieve. We're going to make sure that our apex is back where it wants to be. We're going to make sure that this whole nail is a very nice shape, and we are going to start feathering this product down off that free edge. We need to make sure that that free edge is just as thin as it was before. We're going to make sure this nail is the right shape from every angle, and then we will pop it back into our lamp. We'll cure it for 30 seconds and then we will move on. Once these nails are all infilled, we are going to remove the sticky layer and then we are going to move on to our filing routine. We are going to take a 150 grit nail file and we're going to start by correcting the shape of this nail. We're going to file those side walls really straight, and we're going to take away that excess underneath that we do not need. So what I am going to do next is I'm going to take this little long bit, I'm really sorry, I'm not sure what it's called, and we are going to take out any excess product that we need that is underneath this nail, which you can't reach with your hand file. In this process, we will take away a bit of natural nail, but that is fine. We don't need it if it's pointing downwards. We don't want it if it's pointing downwards. So we're just going to gently recreate our C curve underneath this nail. We're going to file away any excess product that we don't need, and we're going to make sure that we have a nail that is coming nice and straight out of those growth channels. Once we have finished removing any of that bulk from underneath, we are going to come back in with our everyday filing routine. We're going to make sure we file straight up and down those side walls, everything is nice and parallel, everything is nice and flush. We're going to come in the middle of our cuticle area. We're going to point our file downwards so that everything is nice and flush. We're going to come flat across our apex, and then we're going to come straight down that barrel of that nail through the middle to make sure everything tapers into a nice point that we're looking for. Once we have done the middle of our nail, we are going to come up the sides of that nail in towards our apex. We are going to come around the cuticle area, and we're going to make sure that everything is nice and flush, everything is nice and in shape. We will file down the barrel of this nail and make sure everything tapers to that lovely point, and then we will be ready to move on. Now as we are filing, we can see that this nail is looking more the right shape. Everything is nice and straight, everything is nice and flush. We're ready to move on to our next nail, and we don't have any hook shapes to worry about. We're going to do the exact same filing routine on all of the rest of these nails. I'll just show you one more. We're going to go up and down those side walls. We are going to come through the middle of that cuticle area, tilt our file downwards to make sure everything is nice and flush. We're going to bring it flat across that apex, and we're going to tilt it up to come down that taper of that nail and make sure everything tapers into a nice point. Then we can come up the side walls, always filing in towards your apex. We're going to come around the cuticle area, make sure everything is nice and flush, and then if you follow this routine, you do the same to every single nail that you do. Every single nail will come out the same, and it will come out the right shape. Once you are happy with the shape of your nails, you can remove your dust or wash your hands, and then you can either buff these nails and apply your top coat, or you can come straight in with your gel polish. I put gel polish on these and I will show you a little picture now. This is what I did with them, but that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!